Imagine waking up one morning with a quiet but disturbing realization settling into your chest. The life you have been living may not truly be your own. Every decision you believed was freely chosen, every conviction you defended, even the desires that seemed to fuel your ambition. What if they did not arise from the deepest core of who you are? What if they were shaped, molded, and subtly engineered by expectations, conditioning, and invisible forces operating all around you? Pause for a moment and really consider this. How much of your identity reflects your authentic nature? And how much of it is a carefully assembled performance? How often do you feel as though you are playing a role, fulfilling a script written by society, by family, by culture, or by the quiet fears that whisper in the background of your mind? Today, we step into one of Carl Gustav Jung's most powerful insights: the idea that life does not truly begin until you find yourself. But what does that actually mean? Is finding yourself simply about becoming more self-aware? Or is it something far deeper, a radical inner transformation that reshapes the very structure of your being? Stay with me, because as we uncover the hidden forces that shape your identity, you will begin to understand why most people never truly discover who they are, and more importantly, how you can break free. The final realization we will reach is not just philosophical. It has the power to alter the way you see yourself and the way you move through the world. Jung was a pioneer of depth psychology, a thinker who dared to look beyond surface behavior and venture into the vast, unseen realms of the unconscious. Unlike many psychologists of his time, he did not believe that mental health meant simply adjusting to society's norms. For Jung, psychological growth was a journey toward individuation, the process of becoming fully and authentically yourself. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people never take that journey. They remain confined within a version of themselves shaped almost entirely by external influence. They follow expectations without ever questioning whether the life they are living truly aligns with their inner nature. They chase approval, status, achievement, and belonging, convinced that fulfillment lies somewhere outside of them. Yet beneath the surface, there is often a quiet unrest, a subtle but persistent feeling that something essential is missing. Jung believed that real life begins only when we stop running from ourselves. But before we can understand what it means to find ourselves, we must first confront what prevents us from doing so. From the very moment we enter the world, we are conditioned. We are given names, labels, identities, and roles long before we understand their meaning. We are taught what is acceptable and what is unacceptable, what earns praise and what invites punishment, what emotions are welcome and which ones must be hidden. This conditioning is so gradual, so normalized, that we rarely question it. We adapt, we conform, and over time, we begin to suppress the parts of ourselves that do not fit the expectations placed upon us. Think back to your childhood. Were there moments when you expressed yourself freely, only to be met with correction or disapproval? Were you told to be realistic, to stop being too sensitive, that certain feelings, dreams, or impulses were inappropriate? Little by little, you learned to hide those parts, to fold them inward, to place them somewhere out of sight. And in doing so, you began constructing what Jung called the persona, the social mask. The persona is the version of you that functions in society. It allows you to navigate relationships, careers, and social structures. It earns acceptance. It protects you. But here lies the danger. The more we identify with the mask, the more we lose contact with what lies beneath it. Eventually, we begin to believe that we are the mask. And beneath that mask, there is something else. If the persona is what we show the world, then the shadow is what we hide from it. The shadow contains everything we have rejected, denied, or suppressed within ourselves. Our fears, our impulses, our insecurities, our unspoken desires, even our unused strengths. And here is what makes it profound. The shadow does not disappear simply because we refuse to look at it. It does not dissolve when we ignore it. Instead, it operates below the surface, quietly influencing our thoughts, behaviors, and emotional reactions. The parts of ourselves we deny do not vanish. They reappear indirectly, often through projection. Have you ever intensely disliked someone without fully understanding why? Have you ever felt triggered by a trait in another person, arrogance, weakness, selfishness, and experienced a reaction that seemed disproportionately strong? Jung proposed that what disturbs us in others often reflects something unresolved within ourselves. The qualities we Jung proposed that what disturbs us in others often reflects something unresolved within ourselves. The qualities we condemn externally may exist internally, buried within our own shadow. But what if the shadow is not your enemy? What if the very aspects of yourself you have suppressed are not flaws to eliminate, but missing pieces of your wholeness? Jung's great insight was this: psychological growth is not about destroying the shadow. It is about integrating it. It is about descending into your own unconscious, facing what you have denied, and reclaiming what you abandoned. Because when you do, something extraordinary happens. You access a deeper authenticity, a stronger sense of inner power, a freedom that does not depend on approval. This is where the real journey begins. Are you ready to confront who you truly are? To dismantle the illusions that have shaped you? Because what follows may challenge everything you believe about yourself, and it may open the door to a life that genuinely belongs to you. Most people move through life convinced they already know who they are. They define themselves by their profession, their culture, their past experiences, their social roles. But what if the identity you cling to is only a surface-level construction, a fragment of a much deeper and more expansive reality? What if the self you think you are is only the beginning? Carl Gustav Jung believed that within every human being there exists an unseen inner world, vast, layered, and profoundly complex. It is an inner landscape filled with forgotten memories, suppressed emotions, unacknowledged desires, and unrealized potential. And according to Jung, the path to truly finding yourself is not about inventing a new identity. It is about uncovering what has been buried beneath years of conditioning and silence. Pause for a moment and reflect. Have you ever felt a quiet, unexplainable longing for something more? A subtle sense that there is a greater version of you waiting to emerge, a version that feels more aligned, more alive, more authentic. That feeling is not fantasy. It is not restlessness without cause. It is the voice of your unconscious calling you toward expansion. Jung called this process individuation. He believed that genuine fulfillment does not come from fitting into society's expectations, but from integrating every part of ourselves, the admirable and the flawed, the light and the dark, the conscious and the unconscious. But before integration comes confrontation. And this is where most people stop. Why? Because facing yourself is uncomfortable. It requires examining traits you have ignored for years. It demands that you question beliefs you once accepted as absolute truths. It asks you to confront fears you have carefully avoided and to acknowledge the internal conflicts that have quietly shaped your decisions. Think about how often we avoid silence, how quickly we reach for distraction. Work, notifications, social media, constant noise, anything that prevents us from sitting alone with our thoughts. This constant stimulation is not accidental. It is protective. It shields us from deeper questions, from uncomfortable realizations, from the unsettling possibility that something within us is unresolved. But avoidance does not erase what lies beneath the surface. Hidden aspects of the self do not disappear simply because they are ignored. They return in indirect forms: anxiety without clear cause, repeated self-sabotage, relationships that feel unfulfilling, or a persistent sense of being disconnected from your own life. Jung believed that the unconscious is always communicating with us. The problem is not that it is silent. It is that we have stopped listening. Yet the moment we begin paying attention, patterns start to emerge. We notice how our deepest wounds influence our choices, how suppressed desires quietly guide our behaviors, how the fears we resist most often conceal our most important lessons. Consider a simple yet powerful example: the fear of rejection. So many people live with an intense fear of being judged, dismissed, or abandoned. To avoid discomfort, they seek approval. They avoid confrontation. They silence their true thoughts to maintain harmony. But where does this fear truly originate? Is it really about other people's opinions? Or does it stem from something older? Perhaps a childhood experience, a moment when they felt unseen, dismissed, or unworthy. Jung would argue that this fear is not merely an emotion. It is a shadow aspect of the self, a fragment that has never been fully acknowledged. And until it is brought into awareness, it continues to operate behind the scenes, shaping behavior from the shadows. But here is the remarkable truth. Once we face these hidden parts, they begin to lose their grip on us. Imagine living without constant fear of judgment. Imagine speaking honestly without hesitation. Imagine making decisions not based on external expectations, but on what genuinely resonates within you. This is the power of individuation. It is not about transforming into someone entirely new. It is about becoming more deeply who you have always been. Before fear, before conditioning, before self-doubt. So the question becomes, how do we begin? How do we access the unconscious forces shaping our lives and bring them into the light? Carl Gustav Jung believed that one of the most powerful gateways into the unconscious is through symbols, dreams, and deep introspection. He did not see dreams as random fragments of imagination. He saw them as messages, communications from the deeper self, revealing hidden truths about our inner world. According to Jung, when you dream, your unconscious speaks in images. It bypasses logic and speaks in symbols, because symbols carry meaning that words often cannot express. They reveal conflicts, desires, fears, and potentials that the conscious mind may not yet be ready to acknowledge. But dreams were not the only doorway. Jung also emphasized creative expression: art, writing, music, storytelling, reflection, as ways of accessing and integrating the unconscious. When you create, you allow hidden material to surface. You give form to what was once formless. Yet perhaps the most important step is simpler than all of these: awareness. The moment you begin questioning your automatic thoughts, your emotional reactions, your deeply rooted beliefs. Transformation has already begun. The moment you stop running from discomfort and instead approach it with curiosity, you begin reclaiming parts of yourself that were once lost. Because here is the truth. Most people live their entire lives as strangers to themselves. They follow predefined paths. They fulfill roles handed to them. They obey internal scripts without ever realizing they have the power to rewrite them. They suppress their authentic impulses, unaware that their greatest strength lies in embracing all that they are, not just the acceptable parts. But you do not have to live that way. You have the capacity to break free from illusions that have confined you, to shed layers of conditioning and fear, to step fully into yourself, unapologetic and unafraid. And in the next layer of this journey, we step even deeper. Because beyond the personal unconscious lies something more profound. The hidden archetypes within you. Ancient patterns buried deep within the psyche. Psychological blueprints that shape your identity in ways you may not even recognize. If finding yourself were as simple as making a decision, everyone would already be aligned with their true nature. But as we have seen, the process is far more complex. It is not merely about choosing who you want to be. It is about uncovering the forces that have shaped you, facing what you have rejected, integrating it into a whole and authentic identity. So let me ask you something. Why are you drawn to certain desires? Why do particular fears feel so powerful? Why do you repeat the same patterns, even when you consciously try to change? Jung's answer was revolutionary. He believed that within every human being exist universal patterns, deep-rooted psychological structures that influence our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors beneath conscious awareness. He called these patterns archetypes. Archetypes are not personal inventions. They are ancient collective images stored within what Jung termed the collective unconscious, a layer of the psyche shared by all humanity, shaped by generations of human experience. These archetypes shape how we see ourselves, how we relate to others, how we interpret reality. Think about the stories humanity has told across centuries. The hero's journey, the wise mentor, the shadowy villain, the innocent child. These characters appear in myths, religions, literature, and even in your dreams. They are not merely fictional, they are psychological forces alive within you. Take the hero archetype. This is the part of you that longs for meaning, the part that feels called towards something greater. It seeks growth, mastery, transformation. It pushes you to overcome obstacles and evolve into a higher version of yourself. But the hero never travels alone. It is always accompanied by the shadow. As we discussed earlier, the shadow represents what has been suppressed. Fears, insecurities, weaknesses, but also hidden strengths and untapped potential. In myth, the hero must confront the monster, the enemy, the darkness before transformation can occur. Now bring this into your own life. Have you ever felt the urge to change, to step into something greater, but experienced resistance from within? Fear, doubt, procrastination, self-sabotage? That internal struggle is the hero and the shadow in conflict. Most people attempt to silence the shadow, to eliminate it, to pretend it does not exist. But Jung argued that real transformation happens not through suppression, but through integration. Imagine you struggle with self-doubt. Instead of rejecting it, Jung would ask, where does it originate? Is it truly yours? Or was it implanted by past experiences, criticism, societal expectations? And deeper still, what lesson does it contain? Could self-doubt conceal humility, depth, the capacity for reflection, the ability to consider multiple perspectives. When you begin viewing your struggles, we have explored the masks you wear, the shadow you suppress, and the archetypes silently shaping your thoughts and behaviors. But now, we arrive at the deepest illusion of all, the illusion of the self. Most people move through life assuming their identity is fixed. They believe they are a single, solid, unchanging personality traveling through time, shaped by memories, defined by experiences, confined within a stable story. But Carl Gustav Jung, along with many philosophers and mystics, proposed something far more radical. The self is not static. It is fluid, dynamic, ever-evolving, far greater than we have been taught to believe. What if the version of you that you identify with right now is only a fragment of something much larger? What if the you that feels so solid is only one expression of a vast and unfolding consciousness shaped not only by your personal life, but by inherited patterns, ancestral memory, and the depths of the collective unconscious? Jung distinguished between the small, ego-driven self, the one attached to labels, fears, and social roles, and the deeper self. The true self is the totality of your being. It includes the conscious and unconscious, the known and the hidden, the personal and the collective. And this realization is both liberating and unsettling, because it means that everything you believe yourself to be, your limitations, your fears, the narratives you repeat about who you are, is not the full truth. It is a construction, a temporary framework built by the mind to create stability. Here is the most powerful truth of all. You are not merely a single, isolated individual navigating existence. You are a vast, interconnected field of consciousness, carrying within you generational wisdom, unconscious depth, and a potential for transformation that exceeds your current imagination. So then why do we feel small? Why do we experience doubt, anxiety, suffering, and limitation? The answer lies in the ego. The ego is not an enemy. It is a necessary function of the mind. It creates structure. It defines boundaries. It allows you to function in daily life. It is the voice that says, "This is who I am. This is who I am not." But while the ego creates order, it also creates separation. It builds walls. It defines rigid identities. It keeps you tethered to familiar patterns, even when those patterns no longer serve you. And when you cling too tightly to the ego's definition of yourself, you confine your potential. Because in truth, you are not limited to a single identity. You are a being in constant evolution. And the moment you loosen your grip on who you think you are, new possibilities emerge. But how do you step beyond this illusion? How do you move from ego-bound identity into the fullness of your deeper self? Jung offered a path that requires courage, radical honesty, and a willingness to surrender old certainties. First, embrace the unknown. Most people fear uncertainty. The unknown feels unstable. But transformation only happens where certainty dissolves. Growth lives in mystery. When you stop resisting the unfamiliar parts of yourself and instead approach them with curiosity, perception shifts. You begin to see both the world and yourself with new depth. Second, release attachment to labels. You are not just your name, not just your profession, not just your past, not just your personality traits. The moment you stop defining yourself in rigid terms, you create space for expansion. Identity becomes fluid. Possibility widens. Third, listen to the unconscious, your dreams, your instincts, your intuitions, your recurring symbols. They are not random noise, they are communications from the deeper self guiding you toward wholeness. The more you pay attention, the more patterns begin to reveal themselves. Synchronicities appear, inner alignment strengthens, and finally, surrender to the process. Finding yourself is not a single breakthrough moment. It is not a destination you arrive at and permanently secure. It is an ongoing unfolding, layer by layer, truth by truth, illusion by illusion, dissolving over time. And here is the ultimate revelation. You were never truly lost. The self you have been searching for has always been present, waiting, not to be created, but to be remembered. So now, the choice stands before you. Will you continue living as a fragment, bound by outdated fears and inherited illusions? Or will you step into the unknown, embracing the vast, evolving being that you were always meant to become? Because life does not truly begin until you find yourself. And now, you know the way.